It's a pleasure. Good evening and welcome to News Hour with me, Ibrahim Samura. Coming up in tonight's bulletin, the Sierra Leone police report that a vessel MV Arauconia arrested with cocaine in Spain left the shores of Freetown with no sign of a substance like cocaine and was never owned by any Sierra Leonean or registered in Sierra Leone. As neighboring countries, including the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda, continue to record confirmed Ebola cases, the National Public Health Agency intensifies preparedness efforts across Sierra Leone. And the Sierra Leone Standards Bureau, in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade and Industry, commemorates World Meteorology Day under the theme Building Trust in Policy Making, among others. These stories and more are lined up in this edition of the news. Now for our first story tonight. After days of investigations, the Sierra Leone police has reported that the vessel MV Arauconia, arrested with cocaine in Spain, left the shores of Freetown with no sign of substance like cocaine. The report also stated that the vessel was never owned by any Sierra Leonean or registered in Sierra Leone. Sulaiman Babature was in attendance and now reports.
So they continue the investigation. The team will not be put together. They continue work, or because we.
The vessel MV Arauconia was arrested in Spain weeks back by Spanish authorities. Police reports said it was allegedly registered in Comoros Island and was carrying its flag at sea. The report said that the vessel arrived in Sierra Leone on Friday, 17 April 2026, with all competent government institutions undertook routine inspection as provided by their institutional mandate. Also on their manifest, they recorded the acceptance and signing of 1,151 metric tons of palm kernel cakes, 50 metric tons of marine diesel, and 15 metric tons of fresh water. Added to that, the report stated the vessel departed Freetown on Wednesday, the 22nd April 2026, after staying for 5 days, with 17 crew members as opposed to the 23 captured in Spain. It was also noted that the vessel exceeded its voyage period from the expected 6 days to about 9 days. The vessel, head of the Transnational Organized Crime Unit Toku, Reverend Michael Lagar, said was reported to be owned by Serenity Shipping Company, purportedly registered in Sierra Leone. Reverend Lagar said the report from the National Investment Board stated the said company was never registered in Sierra Leone and does not operate at any address in Sierra Leone. He said all officials interviewed denied having knowledge of any cocaine shipment from any port, no account in port movement logs, CCTV footage of loading operations, loading photographs, and receiving cargo manifest that showed anything like that. Meanwhile, Reverend Lagar presented one Mohammed Sharif of Block 5 Kisi Police Barracks, Freetown, arrested of allegedly being in possession of 11 parcels of dried leaves suspected to be cannabis sativa at Mile 38 police checkpoint. The drug was said to be concealed in white Chevrolet vehicle with registration number AXO 085. Report on drug offenses given showed that the total of 409 indictment files were made, 116 convictions, 5 acquittals, 288 pending trials, and 20 indictments pending. In that statistics, Freetown had the highest number of indictments filed of 245 and pending trials of 206, with Moyamba, Magboka, and Pujong registering 0 indictments filed, conviction, acquittals, pending trials, and indictments pending. SLBC News, Sulaiman Babature reporting.
As neighboring countries, including the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda, continue to record confirmed Ebola cases, the National Public Health Agency has intensified preparedness efforts across Sierra Leone. The agency team on Wednesday visited the Freetown International Airport at Lungi and Balamuya Town to strengthen surveillance systems, engage communities, and promote preventive measures against Ebola outbreak. Esther Nene Kamara has the details.
The assessment and awareness visit to the Freetown International Airport and Balamuya Town was part of ongoing national preparedness efforts against Ebola. The visit follows recent reports of confirmed Ebola cases in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda, raising concerns about the need for vigilance across border and entry points in the region. The engagement brought together health officials, local authorities, security personnel, and community stakeholders to discuss measures aimed at preventing the virus from entering the country. At the airport and border community, officials assessed spots to have a checking point at Balamuya. Deputy Executive Director, National Public Health Agency, Mohamed Vande, said the current Ebola reported in the affected countries is different from the one previously experienced in Sierra Leone. He said it will most likely enter two major points of entry, such as airports and border crossings. He added that the country has been taking proactive steps to avoid being caught unprepared, as it was during the 2014 and 2015 Ebola outbreak.
We want to introduce the use of travel portal. That travel portal, every passenger traveling to Sierra Leone need to fill that form. Then we have it here, we see who is coming, who is traveling from where. Your medical history, we will see that. If you have not done it, when you land at the airport here, we are going to do it because we have tablets at the airport. We are going to install tablets at the airport so you can do. So that helps surveillance. In case you are in contact, in case you are in case, we can be able to track you.
Community leaders welcomed the initiative and pledged their support in promoting awareness and ensuring that preventive measures are observed within their communities. Also, officials from the Airport Authority reaffirmed their commitment to supporting National Public Health Agency responses, including Ebola preparedness measures. The pledge supports through digital awareness campaigns and other initiatives aimed at educating passengers and staff while enhancing safety at the airport. Assistant Commissioner for Border Controls and Management, NRA, John Amara, commended NPHA for taking proactive steps to prevent the outbreak. He assured NPHA of their full support, including providing space for detection points and collaborating with other border agencies. Some IPC materials were given to Lungi Government Hospital and Cambia Government Hospital, and the team toured both isolation centers. For SLBC, Esther Nene Kamara reporting.
Earlier, the government, through the National Public Health Agency, informed the media that the agency had put in place preparedness measures ahead of any pandemics or breakout, while admonishing Sierra Leoneans to be vigilant and calm. Cynthia Kamara tells us more.
Prior to the recent declaration of public health emergency by the World Health Organization in response to the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda, the National Public Health Agency, in an engagement with the media, urged Sierra Leoneans to be prepared, vigilant, and calm. Although the country is yet to record any case of Ebola, having fresh memories of its devastating effects on citizens in 2014 to 2026. With the outbreak of Ebola in DRC, which has recorded 246 suspected cases and 80 deaths in Ituri province, as well as 1 death in Kampala, Uganda, the agency advised the general public to observe all preventive measures implemented during the Ebola outbreak in 2014, including the washing of hands and avoid body contact, as well as frequent traveling. During the briefing, health workers were advised to report any suspected cases to the district health management and observe all public health preventive measures. The preparation of Sierra Leone is set to be grounded from lessons learned in 2014, hence will act before the risk escalate.
Heightened readiness The National Emergency Health Committee has been convened to oversee the government's response. 2, enhanced screening at all points of entry. The Lungi International Airport, the Queen Elizabeth Quay, and all major land crossing points. That is in the Cambia, Balamoya, Kaidown. These are fully operational with trained personnel. 3, we want to pre-position emergency supplies. Personal protective equipment, isolation materials, and rapid diagnostics.
Updating the media on the prevalence of measles in the country, Dr. James Squire, Director of Surveillance and Applied Epidemiologist, advised parents to take their children to nearby health centers for vaccines which are readily available in the country.
With the antivirus that is actually transmitted through rodents, and when you come in contact with that, human-to-human transmission is actually limited, and it normally occurs due to close contact with an infected person. That is when you actually get that one. And the disease is actually not endemic in Africa, but more East Asia and the Southern American region. That is where
the current outbreak is caused by the Bundi-Bunyoro strain of the Ebola virus, for which there is currently no licensed vaccine or approved therapeutics. 117 is currently active, hence citizens should report any emergency cases. For SABC News, Cynthia Kama reporting.
The Sierra Leone Standards Bureau, in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade and Industry, has commemorated World Meteorology Day at the Bureau's headquarters in Freetown. The celebration, observed globally every year, is being held under the theme Building Trust in Policy Making. Harold Williams reports.
Officially open the World Meteorology Day program, and I wish you all a meaningful and impactful celebration.
In her keynote address, the Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry, Haja Fatmata Kamara, said meteorology is a driver of economic growth and sustainable development, and therefore forms part of the National Medium-Term Development Plan pillars of 2024 to 2030. She said the private and public sectors make decisions every day, but the inconsistencies in measurement in our markets requires special attention. But the ministry will ensure that the country is built on accuracy, accountability, and fairness in trade and general commerce.
Together, let us build a future where accurate measurement is not just a mere practice, but where accurate measurement is a national culture. A culture that will strengthen our policy making, protect our consumers, and a culture that will support industry and inspire confidence to each and every Sierra Leonean.
According to the Executive Director of the Sierra Leone Standards Bureau, Dr. John Paul Kaisam, the institution is proud to join the global metrology community in celebrating World Metrology Day. He said the theme highlights the importance of trust in governance, which begins with trust in measurement. Dr. Kaisam described metrology as more than just the science of measurement, calling it an invisible foundation of trust in everyday life. He explained that confidence in market transactions, scientific learning, and consumer protection all depend on accurate and reliable measurement.
By embodying measurement into trade, industry, education, and governance, we will ensure that many Sierra Leone products become synonymous with excellence and reliability. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate World Meteorology Day 2026, let us reflect on the importance of accurate measurement in building a fair trade and prosperous Sierra Leone. Together, let us build trust, strengthen transparency, and advance prosperity through the science of measurement.
The chairman of the National Standards Council, Professor Andrew Bemba, said the commemoration aimed at celebrating the science of measurement and recognizing its critical role in industrial growth, public health, and sustainable national development. Country representative of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, Mariatu Soare, said World Metrology Day recognizes the signing of the Metra Convention in 1875 and celebrates the vital role measurement plays in society and economic development, and this year's theme underscores the importance of reliable, accurate, and universally accepted measurement in effective governance and evidence-based decision-making. The European Union representative, Yanis Makisiovas, also made a contribution during the event.
Caritas Freetown, with the Foundation MAGA of Spain, has inaugurated the Casa Leon Hospital Training Center and certified its first batch of trainees at Bray community. The initiative has been driven under the theme Empowering Futures Through Skills and Unlock Potential. Stella Bangura was there and our report.
The initiative, which began in November, identified and trained 15 young people from different parts of Sierra Leone in various hospitality disciplines. It was part of Caritas' efforts to tackle youth unemployment and promote self-reliance through vocational empowerment. Executive Director of Caritas Freetown, Reverend Father Peter Conte, described the ceremony as a historic and joyful milestone for the institution, emphasizing that the graduation represented more than the awarding of certificates. According to him, the initiative symbolizes hope, transformation, and a second chance for young people to build meaningful and productive futures.
We are witnessing the fruits of commitment, partnership, and sacrifice, and believe in the potential of the young people. When young people are left without opportunities, skills, or hope, society becomes vulnerable to many social problems.
Father Conte noted that youth unemployment and underemployment remain major challenges in Sierra Leone. This, he went on, has left many young people vulnerable to social problems, including drug abuse, crime, violence, dangerous migration, and exploitation. Stakeholders present explained that the Casa Leon Hospitality Training Center would equip youth with practical hospitality skills, discipline, professionalism, communication, and entrepreneurial abilities that would enable them to contribute positively to society. They encouraged them to remain disciplined, hardworking, and determined, and urged them to use the knowledge acquired to become job creators and ambassadors of positive change. Project manager Aissatou Sidibe commended the graduates for their dedication and resilience throughout the training process. She said the program was designed to empower young people with both technical and life skills necessary for personal and professional growth.
It was not an easy journey, especially when you have to bring kids from the provinces. You have a lot of engagements to do with the stakeholders, but at the end, most of them graduated today, so it's overwhelming for me. I cannot express my happiness.
Speaking on behalf of the graduates, some of the trainees expressed gratitude to Caritas Freetown and Foundation MAGA for investing in their future. They described the training as life-changing and said it has provided them with renewed confidence, practical experience, and hope for a better future.
Now, we are going different places to show the world what we have learned. Let us always remember humble, respect, and willing to learn fast.
Project coordinator and technical advisor Andreas Schneer from Foundation MAGA in Spain appreciated Caritas Freetown team for their commitment and support in making the project a success, promising follow-up initiatives as internships for graduates. Caritas Freetown re-emphasized their commitment to expanding the initiative so that more vulnerable young people across Sierra Leone can benefit from skills training. Reporting for SLBC, Stella Bangura.
Residents and traders in Freetown's Busi Central Business District are set to benefit from safer and more organized walkways. In this light, Mayor of Freetown, Yvonne Akisoya, led a monitoring tour alongside the Deputy Mayor, FCC, staff, engineers, contractors, and Gold Sierra Leone representatives and other officials of the Sierra Leone Roads Authority to assess progress and engage affected residents and businesses. Esther Sako went along with the team.
For years, pedestrians in the city center have struggled to navigate narrow and congested walkways occupied by petty traders, illegally parked vehicles, and uncovered drainages. During heavy rains, some of the open drains become dangerous, while overcrowded pavements often force people onto busy roads, exposing them to accidents. The City-to-City Corporation Urban Regeneration Project for the Central Business District initiative by the Freetown City Council and its partners will target Wallace Johnson Street, George Street, Gloucester Street, Charlotte Street, Walpole Street, among others. In partnership with Gold Sierra Leone, the Sierra Leone Roads Authority, and support from the City of Zurich through UN Habitat, will focus on improving pavement and beautifying the Central Business District. The Mayor of Freetown, Yvonne Akisoya, said the project is designed to create a clear 2-meter pedestrian space from the curb to the building line, allowing pedestrians to walk freely and comfortably without competing with vehicles or traders for space.
The interlocking blocks, those are being installed around those 5 main streets, and then the slabs will be taken across, will really improve the ability of Freetonians to walk in the city. And when you walk in the city and you're walking on a footpath, it means you get off the road, which improves the congestion on the road. The roads are for the cars, the pavements are for the people.
During the tour, it was observed that some traders still embarked on trading on the footpath, and also vehicles can be seen parking on the footpath, even the newly constructed pavements. But the mayor said she has started engagement with stakeholders, and it have largely been positive, and they will continue follow-up engagements where necessary. Engineer Simon Johnson for CL Group said the project is a 1-year intervention which began in January and is expected to be completed by December this year. According to him, the work goes beyond pavement construction.
The project involves the footpath, it involves changing the drainage covers, rehabilitating the curbs, doing some street signs, doing some street painting, road markings, so it includes a lot of things, even some barriers for pedestrians.
Beyond the pavement works, the project also has a second phase that will see the installation of 196 solar-powered streetlights across the 11 states, alongside greening activities, including walk around the historic Cotton Tree area. The final phase will introduce a controlled parking system with metered parking zones aimed at easing congestion and improving traffic management within the city center. SLBC News, Esther Sako reporting.
You are watching news coming to you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation from Broadcasting House here at New England Ville. High Court Judge Justice Abdul Rahman Mansari has sentenced one Hassan Kamara alias Iron Man to 24 months imprisonment for fraudulent conversion of a motorbike entrusted to him for commercial purposes by one Aminata Conte. Our court reporter Mohamed Sibi Koroma sent us this story.
Hassan Kamara, alias Iron Man, pleaded guilty as he was charged with fraudulent conversion. The indictment indicated that on the 28th December 2025, the defendant Hassan Kamara, alias Iron Man, fraudulently converted a Star Sport motorbike worth 39,000 leones to his own use in spite of being entrusted to him for commercial purpose by one Aminata Conte. Justice Abdurrahman Mansari accepted the defendant's plea of guilty and pronounced him convict. He asked the defendant whether he had anything to say before he was sentenced. The defendant, Hassan Kamara alias Iron Man, pleaded for mercy and promised not to do it again. He added that he lent the bike to a fellow commercial bike rider, but he had not seen him for the past 8 months. The judge inquired whether any lawyer in court could speak on his behalf, being that the defendant did not have a legal representation. Lawyer Waiketi Mansare opted to plead on the defendant's behalf. He said the defendant was a first-time offender and he had been sincere and honest. He added that the defendant, Kamara, had not wasted the time of the court and that he had learned his lessons. Please temper justice with mercy and caution and discharge him, he pleaded. Justice Mansare inquired about the statutory penalty for fraudulent conversion, and the state lawyer M. Sila responded not exceeding 7 years. The judge also inquired what the state lawyer suggested regarding the sentence, and she said 6 months. Justice Abdurrahman Mansare sentenced Hassan Kamara, alias Iron Man, to 24 months imprisonment based on the seriousness of the offense. For SLBC, Mohamed Kouma reporting.
Many Sierra Leoneans have unfortunately fallen victims to the activities of criminals who deliberately scam them of their hard-earned money in exchange of travel opportunities abroad. Some have been victims of an online fraudulent scam linked with QNets. The company coerced people into its business by offering investment schemes, jobs abroad, or visas in exchange for money. The company lured these young Sierra Leoneans by making false promises of employment, traveling abroad, and transit through the Gambia for these fake opportunities. Presently, there are several Sierra Leonean girls at Faratu and Buzumbla communities who are held hostage by these scammers. Sierra Leone's High Commissioner to the Gambia, Her Excellency Martha Kanabo, and staff went to the scamming operating site last week, Saturday, to get first-hand information about the operations. The team saw firsthand how the ringleaders trained a group of Sierra Leoneans to be professional scammers. The High Commissioner and team were almost beaten and were chased out by operatives of QNets. Well, we shall bring you more updates as the stories unfold. The Vice President, Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallow, has said that mining should export minerals to finance development, create employment, improve energy, and enhance development in mining-affected communities. The Vice President was speaking during the opening of the Sierra Leone Mine Week 2026, featuring the 11th Africa Diamond Producers Association meeting held in Freetown. Here is the report.
I now officially open the Sierra Leone Mining Week 2026, the 11th ADPA Council of Ministers, and at the same time, graciously launch the National Strategy for Critical Minerals. I thank you very much. God bless you.
Our mineral resources, responsible mining, value multiplication, and shared responsibility was a theme for the 2026 Sierra Leone Mineral Week, which coincided with the 11th Africa Diamond Producers Association meeting, bringing together delegates from over 30 countries, investors, and potential players in the mining industry. The week was also designed to serve as a national platform to showcasing the country's minerals endowment and potential investment destination. Director General National Minerals Agency Alhaji Engineer Haji Dabo said the mining industry was one of the government priority areas, stating the conference demonstrates that the country is open for investment and business. He said Sierra Leone was among the first countries to the Kimberley process. Chairman Parliamentary Oversight Committee on Mines and Mineral Resources, Honorable Emerson Lamina, lauded the Bio-led government for the number of reforms in the mining sector, noting Sierra Leone is blessed with different minerals, standing as the potential drivers to the country's economy.
The mining makes at least 80% of our exports. come from the mining. With at least 18% adding to our GDP, this is very huge. Because the president should be commended for empowering whether the judiciary or the legislative to do our role.
Dr. Julius Matai is the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources. Dr. Matai underscored the importance of the meeting, stating government is committed to minerals wealth. He told his audience that Africa, including Sierra Leone, should not only bank on mineral extractions, but must prudently govern and beneficiation.
The national strategy for the critical minerals gives this reform momentum, a longer horizon and a clearer destination. By 2031, Sierra Leone seeks to attract $2.5 billion in exploration and mining investment, establish 3 to 5 mineral processing plants and beneficiation facilities, create 45,000 direct jobs and indirect jobs, train 15,000 skilled workers, generate over $300 million in annual government revenue, and achieve $1.5 million in annual exports from processed and value-added mineral products.
The Mines Minister explained to detail the benefit enshrined in the national strategy for crucial minerals. Vice President Dr. Mohamed Julia Jal noted that the government is committed to govern its minerals responsibly and transparently. He catalogued strategic gains in resource generation and contributions to the country's economic growth, citing a number of reforms undertaken by government with the aim to enhance development in the mining affected communities and beneficiation.
In 2024, Sierra Leone's mining sector generated approximately $1.12 billion in mineral export, more than 3.5 times the value in 2020. That same year, government mining revenues reached $49.9 million, representing a 34% increase. These are important gains, and we acknowledge them, and we want to thank the Minister and his team for that progress. Mr. Minister, thank you very much.
In the next 4 days, there will be expert presentations and discussions on the potential of the mining sector in boosting Sierra Leone's development blueprint and Africa in general. Ibrahim Samura, Freetown. For 5 decades, the European Union and Sierra Leone have walked a shared path of recovery, growth and development, from rebuilding communities after the Civil War to supporting farmers, empowering young people and strengthening democratic institutions. That long-standing partnership took center stage in Freetown as the EU officially launched its 50th Jubilee anniversary celebrations, highlighting the impacts of cooperation on the lives of ordinary Sierra Leoneans and reaffirmed commitments toward a more inclusive and sustainable future. Esther Saka has the story.
The launch of the EU-Sierra Leone Jubilee anniversary, marking 50 years of partnership and cooperation with Sierra Leone, brought together EU representatives, government officials, Team Europe ambassadors and the media to reflect on the journey since the EU delegation first opened in Freetown in 1976. Over the years, EU-funded interventions have supported communities through post-war reconstruction, improved the governance systems, expanded opportunities for women and young people, and strengthened livelihood in agriculture and education. EU Ambassador to Sierra Leone described the EU since 1976 in Sierra Leone as a dependable and reliable partner committed to Sierra Leone's peace, democracy, human rights and sustainable development. He said for 50 years they have been involved in infrastructure, agriculture, health and other interventions, stating they have provided over 1.1 billion euros in grants for Sierra Leone.
To promote people-centered interventions, contributing to creating better conditions and opportunities for the people in the country, generating jobs and income that are sustainable. We focus on women and youth and sustainable future in line with the priorities of the government.
The ambassador said the relationship has evolved from traditional aid support into a broader strategic partnership focused on economic growth, democratic governance, and regional security. Ambassadors representing Germany, Ireland, and France also emphasized that the partnership goes beyond donor support, describing Team Europe as long-term partners working collectively to improve the lives of citizens. Irish ambassador and a French charge d'affaires both stressed that working together as Team Europe has made development cooperation more impactful, particularly in areas affecting women, youth empowerment, and job creation. Minister of Learning and Economic Development, Kenya Bali, said the 50-year partnership has been built on shared values, mutual respect, and a consistent commitment to national development. Minister Bali said EU's support continues to align with Sierra Leone's medium-term national development plan and the government's Big Five game changers, including Feed Salon, youth empowerment, human capital development, infrastructure, and public sector transformation.
The government of Sierra Leone remains committed to strengthening coordination with the EU, and we also look forward to a stronger visibility in our partnership so that results are not just evident to us, but they're also evident to the citizens and clearly see how development cooperation is improving their livelihood across districts and communities.
As the Jubilee celebrations begin, both Sierra Leone and the European Union say the next chapter of the partnership will focus on building resilience, creating opportunities for young people, and ensuring development reaches communities across the country. SLBC News, Esther Sako reporting.
The Political Party Regulation Commission (PPRC) has delivered a ruling in the matter of petition on the directives of the Internal Elections Complaints Board of the All People's Congress Party. It directed the leadership of the party to conduct a rerun of lower-level elections, among other things. Moses Conte was there and sent us this report.
Prior to the conduct of the All People's Congress lower-level elections in February, several petitions were made involving the Internal Elections Management Committee, who were charged with the responsibility to conduct all wards, constituencies, districts, and regional elections. According to the report, petitions were received in some wards in the Western area, Southern Region, Bonth and Moyamba, Eastern Region, Kono, Northern Region, Bombali, Tonkolidi, Koinadugu, and Falaba, and the Northwest Region, Cambia and Potuloko. The Commission received a total of 72 words petitions in 37 constituencies from 37 members of the party petitioners. For the Political Party Regulation Commission, although election results in some regions and wards still stands, several others have been called for rerun.
The Commission supplementary directs as follows. Where an issue relevant to a polling center is resolved by the party's supra, the agreed polling center for a rerun election shall be communicated by the National Secretariat not less than 48 hours to the date of the election. Any issue on polling center relevant to the upcoming rerun elections shall be jointly resolved by the National Secretariat, the IEMC, and the pertinent district executive.
After listening to the ruling, National Secretary General for the All People's Congress Party, Lassana Doumbia Esquire, commended the PPRC for its effort. He also called on members of the APC to cooperate with the party.
I want to thank you, and I also want to speak directly to members of the APC. Initially, when we were at the IECB, people were dissatisfied with the ruling. Now we have come to an independent arbiter who has looked at all what you have presented, all what we have presented, and he has come up with this. Please let us move forward as a party. You may not be 100% happy with the exercise, but I believe that this particular job that has been done by the PPRC is a fantastic one.
PPRC assures the public that it remains committed to settle disputes within political parties as per its mandate. For SLBC, Moses Conte.
The University of Sierra Leone has formally responded to concerns raised in a recent Anti-Corruption Commission report. The administration said several findings contain factual inaccuracies and overlooked broader institutional governance challenges. Christian Akama reports.
At a press conference held at the University House Committee Room, FBC Mount Royal in Freetown, the university's Director of Communications and International Relations, Dr. Tonia Musa, said management had issued a detailed position paper clarifying its stance on the matters highlighted in the SEC report released on the 8th of May this year. According to the university, the former registrar, Olive Barry, and the former finance director, Waltina Mackey, were placed on leave in January 2024 following the expiration of their contracts and not a disciplinary measures linked to corruption allegations.
Part of the investigation committee report was that was not done, and there were implications. But the SEC report says there is no cause to alarm. But for us, there is a cause to alarm, given that the Vice Chancellor and Principal, upon assuming office 4 months later, Audit Service wrote that they should be told it's alarming.
Management also disputed the SEC's decision to exonerate certain officials, arguing that such determinations should ultimately rest with the court. The university further said that findings from its internal investigation and policy subcommittee report revealed several institutional and procurement irregularities, including weaknesses in procurement oversight, inadequate record management systems, delays in financial reporting, and concerns relating to a $126,000 United States dollars vehicle procurement process. USL management said while it welcomes aspects of the SEC's recommendations aimed at strengthening reforms, it disagrees with sections of the report it considers incomplete and unbalanced. The university management also expressed concern over what they described as limited engagement between the SEC and university authorities during the investigation process, despite the submission of requested documentation. Meanwhile, management says corrective measures are already being implemented to strengthen transparency, accountability, procurement compliance, and financial management within the institution. The University of Sierra Leone reaffirmed its commitment to institutional reform and good governance, noting that copies of its position paper and supporting reports will be made publicly accessible. SLBC News are in Freetown. Christian Akamara reporting.
The Freetown City Council has officially launched its air quality monitoring initiative. It's aimed at tackling pollution and improving public health across the capital. The project, which forms part of the Unlocking Air Quality Investment Improvement, seeks to establish a citywide monitoring network and strengthen climate resilience efforts in Freetown. Olivine Roy Fox has the detail.
The session focused on the deployment of air quality monitoring sensors across 12 planning areas in the city to generate real-time environmental data. It also supports evidence-based planning and decision-making. The mayor of Freetown, Yvonne Akisoya, said the Freetown City Council was committed to climate action and environmental sustainability. She noted that the council has already planted over 1.2 million trees as part of efforts to strengthen climate resilience and improve environmental conditions within the municipality.
From our perspective, climate action isn't just about addressing or adapting to the change, it's about shaping the future of our city. We have a number of initiatives which are already going on in this space. We are planting trees. We are working on waste to energy. And air pollution is a major crisis. And very often people don't see the link between air pollution and climate change. But there is a direct link. There's a direct link because it's the pollution in the air, particularly in the CO2 affecting the ozone layer, that actually has led to the level of climate change that we're experiencing today.
During the event, they identified major contributors to air pollution in the city. They are but not limited to fossil fuel dependence, old vehicles, oil waste burning, and limited access to clean energy alternatives. According to the climate change officer, Freetown City Council, Yatta Kalon, air pollution remains a serious concern in Freetown due to rapid urbanization, increasing population density, poor waste management systems, and inadequate infrastructure.
Because of the high level of pollutants, most especially the particulate matter 2.5 concentration, that is being linked with respiratory illnesses and cardiovascular diseases and different types of cancer. So Freetown City Council has some plans. We have Climate Action Plan. That Climate Action Plan is actually a guide that has been guiding our interventions when it comes to climate mitigation and adaptation strategies.
A key point session was a live demonstration of the air quality sensors, giving stakeholders practical insight into how devices will collect and transmit air pollution data across the city. Stakeholders from government institutions, civil society organizations, academia, and development partners were encouraged to collaborate in ensuring the long-term sustainability of the air quality monitoring system. The initiative, funded by C40 cities, is expected to play a critical role in safeguarding public health and building a cleaner, healthier, and more resilient Freetown. SLBC News, Alwyn Roy Fox reporting.
You are watching news coming to you live from the Salem Broadcasting Corporation from our broadcasting house here in Freetown. We now cross over to our international desk for all the latest international news.
Welcome to the international news. Israel's far-right national security minister posted a video showing detained activists from a Gaza-bound flotilla kneeling with their hands tied and foreheads on the ground, sparking international condemnation. Israeli authorities had said 430 activists aboard the flotilla were en route to Israel, while the Adalah rights group said some had already arrived at a short port and were being held there. Hamas, which now controls less than half of Gaza and whose attack on Israel sparked the war in the Palestinian territory, said the footage was evidence of Israeli leaders' moral depravity and sadism. A previous flotilla attempt was intercepted last month in international waters of Greece, with most activists expelled to Europe. Two were brought to Israel, detained for several days, and then deported. A new wave of gang violence in Haiti's Quest and Artimonet department has left dozens dead and displaced thousands, according to the World Food Programme. Some shops were looted in the shantytown of the outskirts of Port-au-Prince, and gangs have set fire to houses and vehicles and left civilians reeling. The renewed clashes between armed groups has forced families to flee from their homes in a nation that has been left reeling by spiraling gang warfare for years following the 2021 assassination of President Jovenel Moïse. Families sheltering at the church are receiving WFP emergency food distribution consisting of rice, pulse, oils, and fortified flour that could last them for 15 days. Dozens of vehicles, including fuel tankers, minibuses, and trucks, have been set on fire near Mali's capital, Bamako, as jihadists step up a blockade of the city, the BBC has confirmed. There are no reports of casualties. Those on board were said to have been asked to get out before the vehicles were burnt. Mali is a landlocked country and depends heavily on fuel transported from neighboring coastal countries like Senegal and Ivory Coast. The militants have kidnapped drivers and burned more than 100 fuel trucks on major highways in the country since last year, but some have made it to Bamako under military escorts. The fuel blockade is intended to suffocate Mali's economy and weaken the legitimacy of the military leaders in power. The junta has, however, struggled to contain the deadly insurgency despite the support of Russian mercenaries, making much of north and east of the country ungovernable. Fuel shortages are increasingly disrupting daily life and business activities in Malawi as global oil prices rise amid ongoing instability in the Middle East. Transport companies say the scarcity is already affecting their operations, slowing the movement of goods and threatening supply chains across the country. The Transport Association of Malawi says the crisis is linked in part to global market pressures and disruptions in key shipping routes in the Middle East, which have driven fuel prices sharply higher. With growing public debt and limited foreign reserves, the country's options are limited. It's now said it will sell off some $30 million in precious gold reserves to keep the petrol flowing. That is the international news. Thanks for watching.
Many thanks to Amata Fafana for that news. We're now to end the news. After days of investigations, the Sierra Leone police has reported that the vessel NV Arconian, arrested with cocaine in Spain, left the shores of Freetown with no sign of a substance like cocaine. The police report also stated that the vessel was never owned by any Sierra Leonean or registered in Sierra Leone. As neighboring countries, including the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda, continue to record confirmed Ebola cases, the National Public Health Agency has intensified preparedness efforts across Sierra Leone. The agency team on Wednesday visited the Freetown International Airport and Balamoya town to strengthen surveillance systems, engage communities, and promote preventive measures against Ebola outbreak. And the Sierra Leone Standards Bureau, in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade and Industry, has commemorated World Meteorology Day at the Bureau's headquarters in Freetown. The celebration, observed globally every year, is being held under the theme Building Trust in Policymaking. Well, all that we have for you in this edition of News Hour, which came to you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Continue to be your public broadcaster. News Hour returns tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I've been on News Anchor Ibrahim Samura. Good night.